What is good, everybody? AHS Rules back again with another video. And we're here with an early edition of Shooting the Breeze. Normally, I upload these on Thursday to get my NFL predictions out of the way. But in the case of this week, hey, the NFL games are happening earlier on Thursday because it'll be Thanksgiving Day. Happy holidays. I've treated y'all very early. I've had a video every day this week thus far. The first two have been my fantasy booking, how I would book AEW's Continental Classic Tournament, and also how I would book AEW World's End. I'll go ahead and tell you now, I have said wrestling fantasy booking a crap ton this week. Now, like I said, an earlier edition of Shooting the Breeze. That way I can get my predictions out there prior to Thursday. I know doing this a day earlier kind of screws my weekend predictions up due to injuries and whatnot, but, you know, I typically have to deal with that anyways. And then Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, will be the Packers franchise that is normally uploaded today. So a little bit of a swap. I don't think that's the biggest deal. And then Friday, as always, my ROH TV review, which will, I feel, a top episode of the year. From a lot of the things that I've seen that happened this week, there are a lot of Ring of Honor topics to cover this week, and from what I've seen happen on the TV event, we got a lot to go over in that episode. And then I've talked a lot about AEW this week on the channel. There'll be a lot of WWE talk coming this week forward, as I'll be doing my Survivor Series predictions this weekend, along with my how I would book WrestleMania pre-Royal Rumble edition. We'll get to that when we get to that next week. But now it is Shooting the Breeze number 21. I was questioning if I wanted to say that or not, but I did. First topic, and the AEW topic. Again, Full Gear happened. It was a great show. I covered a lot of it in my previous videos, but the one thing I didn't really dwell into detail about, because I was waiting to tell now, was who was their blockbuster signing. And I will admit, I was wrong. I predicted it to be Chris Hero, and even in my predictions video, I specifically said, I don't think it's Will Ospreay, because he still has commitments left in New Japan, but he said, don't worry, bro, I will cover those, as well as signing with AEW, as now Will Ospreay is all elite. I don't really like saying that, but that's in the thumbnail of the video, so I went ahead and said it as well. So I will say this. When it happened, I was I'm not going to say I was hating on it and negative, but there's two things that were going through my mind. Thing one, I feel now at Wrestle Kingdom, the matchup Will Ospreay versus Jon Moxley versus David Finlay, I don't know what championship it's for, because it's supposed to be for the US/UK championship. There's a potential of it being a new championship. A lot of people want to see the Intercontinental Championship return. Is there even a championship? Maybe I'm speaking too much out of my ASS at the moment, but that was actually kind of funny, the last two words I said. Anyways, the two people you would probably want to win that match are Ospreay and Moxley. And the one person people wouldn't want to see the match is David Finlay. And I feel the chances went up drastically for him to win that. So there was that. The other thing, while he was speaking, I was like, they could have, I think I would be over-exaggerating with all time, but it would have been a very, very great moment, because Kenny Omega had yet to have his match yet, and in my opinion, the matchup I want to see the most with Ospreay in AEW is the conclusion of the Kenny Omega trilogy. And like I said, Kenny Omega hadn't came out yet for his match, set up, have him come out as Ospreay is going to the back. The two are face to face. The crowd would go nuts. We already know the history between the two, because it's happened and involved in AEW history as well. And I just felt it would have been a great moment. It didn't happen. It will happen, obviously, at some point. I feel there's no way in hell that match does not happen. And I've seen a handful of people. I always say, I do over-exaggerate with this. I always say, I see a lot of people. But I do. I saw a handful of times people saying, what would you have as the all-in main event next year? And I feel it I'm not going to say it has to be, but I feel I would more than likely say Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega 3. I know that is a long time from now, but with Will Ospreay just now coming to AEW, I don't think you want to really rush into that matchup. I know a lot of people wanted it to happen at this year's All In event, but it was just like from Forbidden Door to All In, it was just not that. It was too close together. You needed to spread them out. We had January all the way until June at Forbidden Door. And then if you do it in June to August, it would have felt a little bit too close together. So I feel you need to wait. Having to wait a whole year would be good. And like I said, Will Ospreay is just now coming to this company. There's a lot of competition for him to face. I feel my personal, outside of the Omega match, the match I'd be most excited to see is him versus the bastard Pac whenever he returns. But like I said, I feel if it was me personally, I would suggest Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay 3 at All In next year. And then lastly, it kind of ties into what I was saying now. It's harping back on, I've seen a lot of people say this. I did see a lot of people saying it is great for AEW to sign Will Ospreay. And it's also great for Will Ospreay at AEW because Will Ospreay, anytime he puts on a matchup, it is a big deal. You go out of your way to see it, even if you don't want to watch the whole card. Now, I watched the full episode of Impact. I watched Bound for Glory. I think the things I was looking forward to the most on both the episode of Impact and Bound for Glory was the Will Ospreay matches. New Japan, he's kind of been the guy because a lot of the other New Japan matches we've just seen a lot over and over again, where the Will Ospreay matches feel a little bit different. Now, he brings that over to AEW and could do that now on a weekly basis. And even maybe an every other week basis. That way it doesn't hinder itself and he does not get burnt. I'm not going to say burnt out, but too much sometimes could be a lot. So it is good for Will Ospreay to be in AEW. I definitely, as with anybody that signs with AEW, question what would they have looked like and done in WWE, but that is something we'll have to worry about in the future. I was going to say a long time from now, but the future, a long time from now, virtually identical. Now, moving on to my NBA notes. Very weak edition this week. I really liked the ones I had last week because I thought about them in advance, where this one, they're a little bit rushed, and I won't lie, not a lot. I thought went into them. There's just not a lot of evidence behind those thoughts. So the first two that I'll mention are ones I don't really need the evidence for. But I'm giving kudos and credit to a handful of teams that I feel were a little bit doubted. We're a month into the season about. I would say we're over a month in now. Actually, an equal amount. A month in. The Miami Heat, who a lot of people have criticized in the offseason, especially after not getting the Damian Lillard trade done, and they just did not do anything. I've always harped on saying, hey, this team literally just did make the finals. I don't think they're completely done. As of right now, they're the 4th seed and 9-5, and this is actually pretty crazy because they started the season off very rough in the 15th seed in the East after a handful of games. So for them to be the 4th seed, and especially doing it without Tyler Hero, is good. Also, maybe less is more. With these top teams in the East, mainly the Bucks and the Celtics, piling on and making these blockbuster trades in the offseason, maybe less is more. The Heat, again, did not do much. They got the continuity with their guys because a lot of the people that are there with the Heat have been there for a while. Maybe less is more. Maybe if we get to the playoffs and the Heat shock us again and do this again, I feel this statement will have a lot more evidence behind it. Next, in the Western Conference, giving credit to the Minnesota Timberwolves and Oklahoma City Thunder, who are now the 1st and 3rd seeds, respectively. I'm pretty sure the Nuggets are the 2nd seed, but they're defending champions. The Timberwolves, I won't lie, they did not make any real changes in the offseason. They added a couple people, but I feel the main reason they are a top team is because Anthony Edwards is emerging as a top star, and Rudy Gobert is not Rudy Gobert. We didn't really even talk about last year. Didn't really even assess anything with him. Where now he's back to being very good defensively. Karl Anthony Towns has had some moments, but as of recently he hasn't. So I'm not even going to harp on the moments. But it's just it was crazy because when we saw this team together last year with Cat, It just was not good. It was a bit confusing. And it was just maybe they needed time together because they didn't get that time with Cat last year. And Ant, like I said, has came in dominating this year, and it's helped them out. Obviously, also, I think the retro jerseys they wear also helped them out as well. And like Oklahoma City Thunder, obviously the addition of Chet Holmgren was helping them out because last year they were a good team and they did not have a starting caliber center because that was going to be Chet, and he was out all year. And now they've added him. Shea has kind of been at the same level as he was last year. Josh Giddey, I've seen conflicting things about. I see a lot of people bashing on him, but I just feel it's just trying to find a negative in a positive, so I'm not going to harp on him. But the Thunder, they have jumped up to the 3rd seed as of right now. I expected them to be in the play-in level, but like home court in the play-in, so they're overdoing it right now. So those are my first 2 notes. The third note kinda fits in with it. When will we see a team fall in the West? Because I would say the top 10 teams right now are very competitive. So I didn't write them all down. I don't feel like looking them up. I know, I went through the first 3. I know the Warriors are 10th. The Clippers were 11th. We got the Rockets in there. We got the Mavericks in there. I could dwell into those. Maybe I'll do that next week. Maybe we'll see that. But the one other team in the Western Conference I wanted to talk about is something that I have been skipping out on every week. It hurts me because this is my favorite team. And it just hurts me watching basketball. The Memphis Grizzlies. Please send help. Like, we have a lot of problems. That is essentially the best way to say it. I will say I do enjoy Desmond Bane. I think is playing at an all-star level. I don't know if he'll get into the all-star game because the team's record is low. Hopefully he does, though, because he's going crazy. Jaren is also going crazy as well. It is heartbreaking, though, when Jaren, Desmond, and now Santi Aldama just put up crazy, I'm not going to say crazy performances, but like great performances and are dragging the team over the line, and we still lose. Because it feels like these great performances are overshadowed by the loss. And I'm mainly saying this due to the Boston Celtics loss, and we never beat the Celtics. And this would have been a big-time victory. But the main reason we need help is because half the team is injured. Now, I know you can't take everybody's opinion serious, but a lot of people, when they are talking about the Grizzlies, they never mention, oh my God, they're all injured. They just like, ha, laughing at the Grizzlies. And I hate that, but, it is what it is. But Ja has not played. We're 12 games away from that. But the injuries just keep piling up. Marcus Smart, Luke Kennard, Steven Adams is out all year, which at the beginning of the year we thought he was going to be back. But nope, that's not the case. Brandon Clark, I don't know if we will see back or not this year. We shall see. And Xavier Tillman. So as of right now, we only really have one center. 2 if you want to count Kenneth Lofton. And the one center that we have, we literally had to sign as Bismack Biyombo. So I want to see some. I don't know. I think I will fully assess this team once Ja's back. Once we get to the beginning of January, and if we're still having these same issues and it's just still that bad, that's when I'll start to pull my hair out and start going crazy about it. But we got some time before then. But it keeps getting worse. It's getting worse before it's getting better. And then lastly, last NBA note. I don't know how to assess the Atlanta Hawks and the Toronto Raptors. The Hawks are the 10th seed. The 11th seed is the Raptors are the 11th seed. With Atlanta, I watched the game yesterday against the Pacers, and I'm like, Trae Young is very good. But I don't know. This team has good players on it. I just don't know if it competes with the rest of the Eastern Conference. I almost did say Western Conference. And I feel it would very much have to be matchup based and for Trae Young to go crazy because the years that they have been in the playoffs, that's what's gotten them far, or that's what's provided them great performances, is Trae Young going crazy. Obviously, their first year in the playoffs, when they went against the Knicks and they went against the Sixers, it was very much the Trae Young show. Kevin Huerter did help. And then when they faced the Bucks, they finally had somebody who could actually stay in front of Trae Young a majority of the time and defend him well, and Drew Holiday. And that's when the show was over. The Heat threw everything at Trae Young, and they did not do well. That was in the 2022 playoffs. Now, last year, I know he had the crazy performance in Game 5. He had the game winner in Game 5 to send it to 6. But, again, Celtics very much did a little bit of what the Heat did last year. But it's just like, I don't know if that's going to carry over. I don't know when enough is enough. But like I said, Trae Young's a good player. But I feel the Hawks are a team that I want to... I don't know if a trade helps them or not. I really don't. Because I feel they'll be gutting their depth to get a third star out there. I haven't even mentioned DeJounte Murray, but he's done very well to start this season as well. With the Raptors, it's very much the same thing. It's been up and down. I don't really think they're missing Fred VanVleet because Schroeder is holding well, and Fred VanVleet had a up and down, mainly down year last year, and in Houston, he hasn't blown the walls off the, he hasn't blown the wall down yet, I guess is the best way to put it. But I feel the Raptors are kind of the same thing where they could make a move, and I don't know if it really helps them or not, and I just don't know really actually what move they can make because Dennis Schroeder, like I said, he's doing well. OG, Barnes, Siakam, and Jakob Poeltl, I don't know if you're getting that dramatic of an improvement over those four guys. And I feel you want to keep Scotty's your guy there. I don't think you're willing to trade Scotty. You wouldn't want to trade Scotty for Kevin Durant. I don't think you're trading him at all. Siakam is an expiring contract. I'm fairly certain OG, if he's not expiring, he expires next year. I don't really know how to assess this team because they're... I don't want to say they're in purgatory, but I think it's bordering it, especially if just nothing pops out with them throughout the rest of this year, but we shall see. Now is the Week 12 NFL predictions. We are almost at the end of the NFL season, which I will be upset when that happens, but I just want to win my fantasy league so bad that if I could fast forward to see if I win or not, I probably would do it. But, you can't do that, so we shall wait and see. But now it is there are 16 games this week. 32 teams are playing. No teams are on a bye. We got 3 games Thursday, 1 game on Friday, the rest of the games on Sunday, except for obviously the Monday night game. So here we go. The first 3 games, the Thanksgiving Day games. My Green Bay Packers against the Detroit Lions. The main thing I've seen from the Packers this week is the little playoff graphic that says in the hunt, which means, hey, you're essentially the 8th seed. And we're the top. I'm like, oh my God, I did not really expect that from us. That's pretty cool. But, we'll see what happens. I do predict them to beat the Lions because I am biased and I've picked the Green Bay Packers every freaking week on here. So that will continue, especially after a good victory against the Chargers this week. Next, the Commanders versus the Cowboys. I'm going to pick the Cowboys. They're doing very well right now. I'm trying to think. They beat the Panthers last week very badly. What? I think they beat the Giants the week before that. So they just need to continue this roll. And then the last game, the 49ers at Seahawks. I'm going to take the 49ers because the Seahawks are a little bit banged up, and I think it's just too little time for them to recover. Now, the Black Friday game. I don't know if this is the first ever Friday game in the NFL history, but I imagine it probably is. It's also weird that, Black Friday is a holiday. I know it's kind of always been a big deal. It's kind of, again, weird because a lot of Black Friday sales have already started or start late Thursday night, so it's not even, really Black Friday, but I know there's a handful of college football games on Black Friday this week, and the NBA, my Grizzlies are playing at 4 o'clock on a Friday, which I know, again, school should be out. If you have to go to school on Black Friday, I will apologize, but also, did not have a booger. It definitely looked like I did. It definitely, now saying it probably makes it look like it, but I didn't. Anyways, Black Friday game, Dolphins at Jets. I'm going to pick the Dolphins. The Jets, oh boy. They had a rough week this week. I don't know if Tim Boyle subbing in for Zach Wilson is going to do much. Also, I'm trying to think, what week, whenever the Jets played the Chiefs, I don't remember what number week that was. That's when I predicted Zach Wilson was going to get benched. But obviously that was like 2 months ago now. Now we're at week 12. It is kind of taking place. Maybe I have also not made a lot of bold predictions in a while. So I do predict the Dolphins to win this matchup. Now we go on to the Sunday games. Saints at Falcons. I think I'm going to take the Saints. I think I am. It definitely, I don't know. The Falcons, they're not a bad team. They just they have their moments and then they just disappoint, and then it's just like, wow, they could have done something there. And I guess you could also say that with the Saints as well, but I feel that is mainly with one player at one position. Where the Falcons is also kind of that as well. But also they get a lot of critique for how they use Bijan Robinson, which it just depends on how the week it is. What week it is and how that goes. Next, the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Both teams lost this week, but the Bengals lost Joe Burrow, which sucks, and the Steelers lost Matt Canada. They fired Matt Canada, which is weird because I don't know a lot of offensive coordinators' names, and I did not know his name. I almost didn't even call him Matt Canada. I almost called him Fire Canada because that's what the hell you've been hearing for however many months, but that finally happened. I'm going to pick the Steelers, and I'm going to hope that a change happens, and if it doesn't, what the hell were y'all bitching about all along? So I'm picking the Steelers because I feel they have more to prove than the Bengals, because the Bengals are down a man that is on the field. The Steelers really ain't. And maybe, like I said, changes should be made with the Steelers this week. Next, the game in the thumbnail. And if you were to tell me at the beginning of the year, because there are three other big time games, and I've used them a lot in my thumbnails, where these two teams I have yet to use, and they're doing very well, and I did not expect to put them in the thumbnail, but I am. The Jaguars and the Houston Texans. I enjoy whenever the Texans pop up on Red Zone or they're on the TV, I enjoy watching them. The Jaguars, kind of the same. My main issue with the Jaguars is that Evan Ingram does not get the ball enough, and it hurts my fantasy team, and I don't think he has a touchdown all year. This is my heartbreaking. The Texans, Jaguars, this is going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I put it in the damn thumbnail. I'm picking the Texans. They're the more impressive team because it's a rookie quarterback, where the Jaguars just made the playoffs. Last year is just good for them to keep the momentum going, even though they had some downtime between then. Next, Buccaneers at Colts. Buccaneers came close. I'm not even going to say, I lied. They had a chance to tie it up in the 49ers game, and then they didn't. I'm taking the Colts. Now, Patriots at Giants. If you bought tickets to this game, I apologize. This is not a game I'd like to sit through and watch. But I think I'm going to go with the Giants because they are the home team and looked somewhat decent against the Commanders. Next, I don't know why my neighbor is revving his car up, his truck up so much. I don't think it popped. I don't know. A lot of times, background noises that I hear, y'all don't hear, but it distracts me, so that's why I address it. Panthers at Titans. I'm going to take the Titans. I know the Panthers have only won one game this year. There's a chance for them to win any game. It's potentially this one, but I'm going to take the Titans and hope the Titans win. I'm trying to think. The Titans played the Jaguars this week. I'm pretty sure that game was in Jacksonville. And then the week prior, they faced the Buccaneers. And I think they've had 3 games in a row on the road, because I remember them playing the Steelers, and that was in Pittsburgh. So, this Will Levis, the Titans have done very well at home this year. And then because the first game Will Levis started was at home against the Falcons. And then they played the Steelers Thursday night. That was in Pittsburgh. Then the next week, they played Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. And then this week, I don't know. I'm going to look it up. Let me look it up. Did they play the Jaguars in Jacksonville? Because if not, I feel this helps me out a little bit. It wasn't Jacksonville. So, I'm taking the Titans this week. A little bit of memory helps there. Next, Rams at Cardinals. I'm going to take the Rams. They beat the Seahawks. The Cardinals, with Kyler Murray being back, look somewhat decent, but it's just they're dug into a hole that they already expected to have to jump into. I don't expect them to jump out of that hole. So I'm taking the Rams. Next, the Browns at the Broncos. The Broncos country is riding. I'm going to take them. I'm taking the Broncos. Next, Chiefs at Raiders. The Chiefs lost on Monday Night Football to the Eagles. The Raiders, they're conference division rivals. I don't know if they're like rival. I don't know. I feel if you want to say anybody's rivals with the Chiefs, you'd probably say the Chargers. But the Raiders, they did lose to the Dolphins. They've looked better as of recently. I want, like, if I was to make a bold prediction, it'd be me taking the Raiders. But I'm not. I'm going to take the Chiefs. But if I'm wrong about this, it definitely would bother me. Now, the game that I probably should have put in the thumbnail, because it's a big time matchup, but I've used these teams a handful of times already. The Buffalo Bills at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have only lost one freaking game this year, which is a little bit nuts. And the Bills just picked up a big-time victory over the New York Jets. I think I'll make the bold prediction, take the Bills here. You know, if I'm wrong on it, I'm wrong on it. I don't think there will be any other time I pick against the Eagles the rest of this year. I just wanted to make a bold prediction, and I'm going to take the Bills. And then the Sunday Night Football game, I almost said the Los Angeles Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens against the Los Angeles Chargers at Chargers SoFi Stadium. I'm taking the Ravens. I feel like I take the Ravens every week. I don't think I would change that. And then Monday Night Football, last game to talk about. Bears at Lions. I'm taking the Vikings. I also just realized this. Every matchup, or it can't be every matchup. So there's got to be one anomaly. Let's see if we can pick it out. All right, I already found it. No. Oh, boy. Am I wrong? I have to be wrong. A majority of these matchups are divisional, like, matchups, because Packers, Lions are in the North. Commanders, Cowboys in the same division. 49ers and Seahawks are in the same division. Dolphins, Jets are in the same division, which I don't think the Jets have played the Dolphins in Miami yet. Saints and Falcons are in the same division. Steelers, Bengals, same division. Jaguars and Texans, same division. Buccaneers, Colts aren't. Patriots, Giants aren't. Panthers, Titans aren't. But Rams, Cardinals are. Browns, Broncos aren't. Chiefs, Raiders are. Bills, Eagles aren't. Ravens, Chargers aren't. Bears, Vikings aren't. So I lost count, obviously. I think it's an even amount, but it was something interesting that I noticed. Hopefully you notice a lot of food on your table this Thanksgiving and you get to enjoy your meals. Hopefully you have a good and safe Thanksgiving. If you celebrate, I always specify this now. If you celebrate the holiday, hopefully Black Friday treats you well. You're able to get the things that you want to get. Hopefully we can all stay safe. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. I am going to blow my nose because a lot of snot is going to come out of it. That's not the best way to end the video. That's how the cookie crumbles. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.